looking, and she definitely looked like she was close to tears for a big chunk of that.
My name is Chao Xiong, and I'm a reporter for the Star Tribune covering courts. I cover the Derek Chauvin trial, and I was in the courtroom today as one of two pool reporters covering his sentencing.
Like it for them. Yeah. How many people were in the room, or the center today?
So Derek Chauvin had 5 supporters in the courtroom today, which is highly unusual. Throughout trial, he only had 1 or 2 at a time. Today he had his mother, a man who was with her. We don't know if that's the father or stepfather. His ex-wife was there with her 2 grown children from a previous marriage. George Floyd had 7 supporters, including his brothers, a nephew, 2 attorneys, and a victim advocate.
Yeah, because so you're helping out a lot, because otherwise I would just be walking. How do you feel about this sort of coming together?
The brothers gave very emotionally charged victim impact statements requesting maximum prison terms for Derek Chauvin. They said that they've been sentenced to life because George is dead and they can't bring him back. But Chauvin has an opportunity to be freed at some point, an opportunity again to connect with his family, to still see his family regardless of prison time.
Yeah, already I'm thinking, okay, we've still got the federal trial and we've got the trial of the 3 officers unless there are pleas.
One very interesting development too was that Derek Chauvin's mother also gave a statement, which is really unusual in state court. And she pleaded for leniency, saying her son was not a racist, that he was a good man, that he loved his job. One interesting thing was Chauvin didn't show a lot of emotion when George Floyd's brothers gave a statement and when the video of his daughter was played in court. But when his mother came up to speak, he looked down a few times and really definitely was affected by her presence. And when she left the podium, he kind of readjusted his body in his chair, sort of repositioning himself. And those little things were markedly different from his countenance today and his bearing throughout trial. So ultimately the judge gave him a sentence that was kind of in the middle, 22 and a half years. Prosecutors were asking for 30. The judge went a little bit lower. Derek Chauvin's attorney was asking for a probation or a much lower term, and the judge said he was giving 22 and a half years as the law applied, not because of public pressure, not because of emotions, but because of the law.
Like looking down like this, and just these little things, but like so different from what he normally.
But yeah, it was about all there was to go with.
Yeah.
The families on both sides were just very quiet, intently listening, no visible reaction at all to the actual sentence being announced. But at other points, they were very emotional. When Derek Chauvin's mother was addressing the court, Chauvin's ex-wife looked like she was on the verge of tears, really leaning forward, looking at the mother. And after Floyd gave his statement, he sat back in his chair and spent several minutes kind of composing himself, dabbing his eyes with a tissue, pressing a tissue into his face, wiping his face. He was definitely affected by his moment up in court today. It's been a surreal experience, as a resident of Minneapolis, and I live near the 3rd Precinct too. So when you live a story as much as you report it, it really is unlike anything I've done before. And so this really does feel like turning the page. We're not done, of course. There's still a federal case against Derek Chauvin and 3 other officers, and those 3 other officers still are awaiting trial in state court. But this really does feel like turning a page and moving forward a little bit for the entire community.